Hello everyone. Hope I'm audible and visible. My screen is visible. So yesterday we had quant marathon in which it was 4.5 hours, maybe more than that. There are 100 plus questions over there, which we discussed. And today it's reading comprehension. The entire idea is for this playlist is to, complete the entire syllabus and do 100 questions each across all the topics. And that is how you'll be able to actually um, pass MSCT with flying colors, right? That is the entire agenda of this entire playlist. So all who are here, come on, just tell me. Mark your attendances. All right. Who all are there? So you must have seen my VARC classes for CAT as well. There'll be some difference here. In MHCT, so I normally say that you have to read the entire passage. The entire passage. Okay, to get the hang of the all sorts of questions that is in CAT. But for MHCT, we'll be kind of, somehow twisting the entire mechanism. Why? The reason is, first of all, MHCT is a game of speed. It's not a game of, I would say, the questions are easier than CAT. The questions are much more straightforward. So here we will be just reversing the strategy. So we will read the questions first and then the passage, because passage will be small. It will be like 300, 350 words, not more than that. And there'll be 3 questions attached to it. In some passages, we'll be having only 1 question also. That passage will be even smaller, like 150 words. So if you know the questions, which are pretty straightforward, we'll just go for that. And whenever we have something like that, we'll just, kind of mark it down and answer it. All right, that is how we are going to do it. Good evening, Sadanand. Is that clear? That is how it's gonna be. Cool. Let's start. MSCT CRE, reading comprehension is a critical section. Yeah, obviously it is. Test your ability to read complex analytical passages and answer inference, vocabulary, and tone-based questions. So whatever we avoid for CAT, we'll be doing everything here for MSCT. Passage types span across social sciences, economics, science, technology, history, literature, everything. Genres are essentially same, similar to CAT. Just that the kind of questions are different. Good evening, Aditya. Question patterns expect main idea, tone and purpose, specific detail, inference, vocabulary and context, author's argument across questions across each passage. Strategy, read for structure, not just content. So here structure is very important because, see, the questions are majorly structural. All right. Well, identify the author's thesis. Thesis is like what exactly, the motive of author was to write that passage, how they build their argument, and what the tone signals before attempting questions. Time management, well, multiple passages in the exam, aim to spend 6 to 8 minutes per passage, including questions, practice building this rhythm with the passage in this deck. Okay, so 6 to 8 minutes with the questions. That is what your aim should be. Ready now? So we won't be going, I won't talking much about theory and all. We're discussing passages itself. So for every passage, so as I told you, that I'll be showing you RC time बहुत लगता है for reading 4 minutes plus. Aditya, the only way is to go for eclectic reading. By the way, you are appearing for CAT as well, so you have some time. So follow all that I tell you. For today, whoever's preparing for CAT, they would be finding this thing pretty easy to moderate, but it's going to help you a lot in building the proper RC acumen. For the people who are writing exam on the 4th of April for MSCT, for them, this is going to be a gold mine. Okay. Now, the people who have gone into grad school ecosystem, I have launched free tools. So it's a kind of a free revision whenever you want to, wherever you want to, on the mobile phone, on the laptop, anywhere. Quant revision tool, that 34 quant topics, and every topic I have given the formula. It's kind of a formula sheet. The formula, the ALP insight, the tips, techniques, tricks, generalizations, and even the quizzes across all 34 topics. Same is with grammar. RC111, this is a huge tool. It has got 111 RC passes free of cost, which are CAT relevant. You can just attempt that with the timer. The timer is also there. Okay, you can just do it free of cost. So let's now start today's agenda. Here is the passage. So what I'll do here, I'll be giving you not more than 5 minutes. Okay. So you will be getting 5 minutes. Let's say 6 minutes to solve everything. Now, in these 6 minutes, what I'll do, I will show you the questions for 30 seconds each. All right. Hey, Shreya, 30 seconds each. 30 seconds, question number 1. 30 seconds, again, question number 2. 30 seconds, question number 3. So when you have the questions there, you know what is going to be asked. And after that, I'll show you the passage. So you will be getting 4 minutes, exactly 4 minutes to read the passage. All right, that makes it 5.5 minutes. Or maybe not 4 minutes, 3.5 or 3 minutes. Let's say 3 minutes. This makes 4.5 minutes. And then 30 seconds each to answer the questions. Is that clear? All right. Is that cool? Shreya, GMAT classes here, that will be kind of, impossible because GMAT has got different thing altogether. That is only possible inside the platform. Even this is kind of a marathon, which is for the people who are not a part of grad school. So this is why I'm here on YouTube. Well, so 30 seconds each for the question. Is that clear? The rules are clear. 3 minutes to read the passage and 30 seconds each to answer all the questions, like one by one. Okay, so I'll start the timer. I'll fix it to 6 minutes. All right. The moment 30 seconds are over. But Shreya, I will try to do something about that. Not the entire thing, but yeah, some of it I might do. All right. 6 minutes. Here we start. And I'll show the question first. 30 seconds for the question. Just read it. The question talks about what? Central argument. Second question. 30 seconds each. We are going to do it really fast. Question number 3. Every passage has 3 questions and 5 options. So as you can see here, the type of questions, the difficulty level is not equivalent to CAT here. They are easier. So that is why we do the questions first. In CAT, we do the opposite. Read the passage first. All right. So don't confuse. Now, here is the passage. We'll get 3 minutes. Shreya. Oh, Shreya. All right. Connect with me on call tomorrow at around 2 p.m. We'll discuss that. Question not visible. इतनी देर बाद बोला. Oh my goodness. Just a moment. After 1.5 minutes is over, you guys are telling me it's not visible. That was pretty quick, huh? Is it visible now? I think now it is. All right. So I think I should show the questions again. I would just restart the timer. And Shreya से पूरी बात हुई, but she did not say it. I'll show the questions again. 30 seconds for each question. Here is the first one. Which of the following best describes the central argument of the passage? Read the options quickly. Classical economics provides an accurate model of human decision making. Cognitive biases are rare anomalies that affect only untrained individuals. Human decision making systematically deviates from rational models in predictable ways. All right. Is it visible now? Just a moment. Now it's fine. I think it's fine now. Great. So I think first question is what you already have read. Second question. This is the same one now. See, I think everything is pretty clear now. And here we have the last one. All right. So let's go to the passage now. I think everybody is sorted. Here we are. Let's start. So I'm just repeating. In CAT, we read the passage first, and then we go to the questions. Here we're doing the questions first, then we go to the passage. The reason is simple. Questions are straightforward, and it's a speed-based exam. Time for reading the passage is up. Now we are going to the questions. The first question. Next. Aditya, Keshav, you have answered. Sadanand, Shreya, and everybody else who is there. Last one. Okay. You're done with 3 questions. And now you must have realized, people who are preparing for CAT as well, that in CAT, the passages and the questions are kind of very, kind of full of a lot of, what do you say, difficulties, traps. Here, the traps are not that obvious. So if I look at the questions, first of all, in any exam which is speed-based, the questions are pretty straightforward, and that is what we need to keep in mind. So first one talks about which of the following best describes central argument of the passage. So to answer this question, what needs to be done? So let's say there is paragraph 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3, and so on, paragraph 4, 5, and whatever. You just have to write the argument of each paragraph, which will be 1 word or 2 or 3 words, not more than that, the keywords. And whatever is the most important repetition is the central argument. Okay. Now, the second one talks about loss aversion implies what? So loss aversion is the key point which we want to see. Right? Absolutely, Aditya. CAT वाली क्लास में बहुत हालत खराब हुई होगी. Just an example of organ donation rates is used in the passage to illustrate what? So organ donation पे ध्यान देना है मेरे को, लॉस एवर्जन पे ध्यान देना है, और सेंट्रल आर्ग्यूमेंट. मान लो एग्जाम के अंदर मेरे पास टाइम बहुत कम है, तो इस वाले को मैं स्किप भी कर सकता हूँ कि इसके लिए पूरा पैसेज पढ़ना पड़ेगा. गेटिंग इट? सो लेट्स गो टू द क्वेश्चन नाउ. लॉस एवर्जन, ऑर्गन डोनेशन. ठीक है, चलो देखते हैं. फर्स्ट वन, human beings make hundreds of decisions every day, from the trivial what to eat for breakfast to the consequential. What is important? Hundreds of decisions from trivial to consequential. ठीक है, तो ट्रिवियल बहुत ही छोटे मोटे डिसीजंस हैं, कॉन्सिक्वेंशियल जहां पे एक एक्चुअल कोई कॉन्सिक्वेंस होगा, जैसे एक्सेप्टिंग अ जॉब, एंडिंग रिलेशनशिप. फॉर मच ऑफ हिस्ट्री, इकोनॉमिक्स एंड फिलोसोफर्स अज्यूम्ड. व्हेन दे से अज्यूम, इसका मतलब क्या है? अगर कोई बोलता है, whenever someone says that you are assuming something, that means there is more to come. Yes or no? Can I say that? The moment someone says that they assume this, इसका मतलब ये है कि assumption कहीं ना कहीं चैलेंज होने वाली है. यहां मुझे मालूम पड़ गया है कि जो भी बात यहां लिखी होगी वो पूरी तरह से सही नहीं होगी. राइट? right? So assumption was decisions were made rationally. Oh, डिसीजन रैशनली होते थे, ऐसा assumption था, पर ऐसा असलियत में है नहीं. यही होगा आगे. Individuals weigh costs and benefits, assess probabilities of rational choices है. लेकिन model of the rational agent became the bedrock of classical economics. तो classical economics जो था, that was rational agent. So classical economics में जो कुछ भी बातें बोली गई हैं वो इस पूरे पैसेज का क्रक्स या मेन आर्ग्यूमेंट नहीं हो सकता. डू वी हैव दैट ऑप्शन एनीवेयर? क्लासिकल इकोनॉमिक्स प्रोवाइड्स एन एक्यूरेट मॉडल. गलत हो गया. डू यू अंडरस्टैंड? पहले ही गलत हो गया. चलो आगे देखते हैं. However, research in cognitive psychology and behavioral economics over the past few decades fundamentally challenged this assumption. ठीक है, साइकोलॉजिस्ट ये दोनों थे. क्या बोला इन्होंने? Humans consistently deviate from rational choice in predictable ways. Their work revealed a host of cognitive biases, systematic errors in thinking that distort our judgments and decisions. ऐसा कुछ है क्या? Cognitive biases are rare anomalies that affect only untrained individuals. कुछ ऐसी बात करी गई है. We're not really sure. लेकिन ऐसा यहाँ पे ये कंफर्म हो गया है कि ये कई लोगों में होता है, सिर्फ अनट्रेंड में है. ये बात जरूरी नहीं कि सही हो. I'll put a question mark and go ahead. सी बोलता है ह्यूमन डिसीजन मेकिंग सिस्टमैटिकली डेविएट्स फ्रॉम रैशनल मॉडल्स. ये बात एग्जैक्टली बोली गई है. इसके सही होने की प्रोबेबिलिटी बहुत ज्यादा है, राइट? आई विल पुट 2 क्वेश्चन मार्क्स. लेट्स रीड मोर. वन ऑफ द मोस्ट वेल डॉक्यूमेंटेड बाइसेस, लॉस एवर्जन आ गया. टेंडेंसी टू फील द पेन ऑफ लॉस मोर इंटेंसली दैन द प्लेजर ऑफ एन इक्विवेलेंट गेन. ठीक है, तो कोई चीज हमें अगर हम व्हेन वी लूज समथिंग वी फील मोर पेन देन द हैप्पीनेस वी गेट व्हाइल गेनिंग समथिंग. ठीक है, एक बार शाहरुख खान से पूछा गया था कि आप हमेशा टॉप पे कैसे रहते हैं. सो ही सेड दैट आई एम स्केयर्ड ऑफ फेलियर्स मोर देन आई लव सक्सेसेस. सो मुझे बहुत याद आ गई एकदम से यहाँ पे. तो ये बहुत बोली गई. यहाँ पे एग्जाम्पल दे रखा है, वो हमारे काम का नहीं है. दिस asymmetry explains why people hold on losing investments longer than they should. तो एक बात समझ में आती है कि पहला पैसेज was about classical economics rational model which was not the exact model. ये शुरुआत में समझ में आ गया. और सेकंड में कॉग्निटिव साइकोलॉजी के बारे में बताया गया है that people have errors in thinking which distort judgments. And the third paragraph is basically an example of this, right? It is a documented bias, and the bias is loss aversion, on which we have a question also. Cool. Another pervasive bias is the availability heuristic. तो यहाँ भी जो fourth paragraph is also an example, an explanation of the second paragraph. The second paragraph is something which makes the exact argument जिसको support किया गया है third paragraph और fourth paragraph में, जहाँ पे बताया गया है pervasive bias क्या होता है. People judge the likelihood of an event by how easily examples come to mind. After seeing dramatic news coverage of plane crashes, people overestimate the danger of flying, even though statistically it is far safer than driving. Absolutely. Conversely, risks that are common but undramatic, heart disease, chronically underestimated. ठीक है, अब यहाँ पे समराइज किया है. The implications extend far beyond individual decision making. Governments, organizations have begun applying insights from behavioral economics to design nudges. तो behavioral economics जो है वो जीत रही है, classical economics फेल हो रही है. ठीक है ना? इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि जो सेकंड में बोला गया है वही हमारा सेंट्रल आर्ग्यूमेंट था. डू यू अंडरस्टैंड दैट? In the second paragraph lied the central argument which has been supported by third and fourth paragraph. Good evening, Ankit. और फिफ्थ में बोला गया है कि वही चीज जीत रही है, वही चीज विनर है, सेंट्रल आर्ग्यूमेंट. सेकेंड वाला था जो कॉग्निटिव साइकोलॉजी मॉडल वाज द वन व्हिच वाज एक्चुअली विनिंग द लॉन्ग गेम, नॉट द क्लासिकल इकोनॉमिक्स. इज दैट क्लियर एवरीवन? Do you understand that? Am I visible? Hi. So organ donation rates have been dramatically increased in some countries simply by switching the default from opt-in to opt-out. Understanding the architecture of human rationality may be one of the most powerful tools we have for improving outcomes at scale. ठीक है, तो समझ में सीधा सीधा आ चुका है. लॉस एवर्जन तो एक बस एग्जाम्पल था, एक सपोर्टिंग आर्ग्यूमेंट था. नजेस ये भी सपोर्टिंग आर्ग्यूमेंट था. मेन आर्ग्यूमेंट इज ऑप्शन सी. सो ऑल ऑफ यू प्रोबेबली गॉट इट राइट. सेकंड, लॉस एवर्जन वही था कि खोने का दुख पाने की खुशी से ज्यादा होता है. ऑप्शन सी. राइट. पीपल आर इंडिफरेंट गेनिंग एंड लूजिंग? नॉट रियली. इन्वेस्टर्स ऑलवेज सेल लूजिंग स्टॉक्स क्विकली टू मिनिमाइज रिग्रेट? ऐसा कुछ है ही नहीं, बताया नहीं गया. ये क्लियरली मेंशन्ड है. लॉस एवर्जन वाज फर्स्ट आइडेंटिफाइड ऑर्गन डोनेशन रिसर्चर्स? नो. Organ donation was a different supporting argument. People are naturally inclined to take calculated financial risks. We have better example and better option in C. Third one, organ donation rates. क्या बोला गया था यहाँ पे, आखिर में लिखा हुआ है dramatically increase in some countries simply by switching the default from opt-in to opt-out, understanding the architecture of human irrationality improves outcomes at scale. Here we have. So B. CCB is correct here. How many of you got everything correct? So now you understood. The people who have joined now recently, the entire idea is to that I'll give you 6 minutes. So now 20 seconds I'll give each for reading a question, because I tell you again, in CAT, we read the passage, then the question, but in any speed-based exam like MHCT, we'll read the questions, then go to the passage. 20 seconds each for the 3 questions, which makes it 1 minute, 3 minutes to read the passage, and then the question solving. So I'm starting the timer now. Here we start. First question, 20 seconds. Next. 6 मिनट मैक्सिमम टाइम है, कम में कर लो और अच्छी बात है। मुझे लग रहा है ये साइंस बेस्ड पैसेज है, बहुत ही डायरेक्टली डेटा ड्रिवन है। नेक्स्ट। All of you have read the question. All 3 questions. You have the keywords. कोरल रीफ के बारे में क्या सपोर्ट नहीं हो रहा है, कोरल ब्लीचिंग क्या होती है, कब होती है, जूओजेंथैले इन अ कोरल रीफ इकोसिस्टम का रोल क्या है। ओके, लेट्स गो टू द पैसेज। Am I visible, guys? Okay, I am. Going to switch off my camera. Read the passage. Done with the passage, everyone. The clock hits 2:30. I will switch to the questions. जल्दी जल्दी करना है, जो एमएससीटी एग्जाम दे रहे हैं उनके लिए यही स्पीड चाहिए। चलो, मार्क योर आंसर्स, 30 seconds each. Thirty seconds over. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन। इतना प्रैक्टिस करा दूंगा कि तुम एमएससीटी एग्जाम देने जाओगे, तुम्हें लगेगा कि तुम मेरी क्लास में ही बैठे हो। कैसा लगेगा? मजा आएगा सदानंद? एग्जैक्टली सेम फीलिंग एज इफ द टेस्ट इज एन एक्सटेंशन ऑफ द क्लास। इतना ही टाइम मिलेगा वहां पे भी। बिकॉज आई एम टॉकिंग, आई विल गिव यू 10 seconds मोर। All right then. So I'm repeating because it's a speed-based exam. We will read the questions first, then the passage. Role of zooxanthellae in coral reef ecosystem. जहां मुझे मिलेगा वही मेरा आंसर हो जाएगा। फिर है coral bleaching occurs when what happens according to the passage, okay, not to the GK that we have. Then we have which statement is not supported by the passage. All right, ठीक है। यहाँ पे हमें सारे स्पेलिंग्स पढ़ना बहुत जरूरी है। So people are saying CBD, maybe they are correct. Let's check this out. ठीक है। Coral reefs cover less than 1%, हमारे काम की बात नहीं है ये। Extraordinarily, ecosystems have taken thousands of years to build, किसी काम की बात नहीं। Tiny polyps, not relevant to us. Billions of polyps create intricate three-dimensional structure, not. पहला paragraph is not useful for us. Wow. In cat, it doesn't happen. Here, it is happening. Relationship between coral and microscopic algae zooxanthellae is fundamental to reef survival. ये algae है, अच्छा। They form the calcium carbonate skeleton. Predatory algae provide tiny. Okay, okay, okay. ठीक है। These algae live within the coral tissue and through photosynthesis provide up to 90% of coral's energy needs. In return, the coral offers the algae shelter and compounds for photosynthesis. This mutual partnership is the engine of reef productivity. So basically, the symbiotic relationship. You know what is symbiosis? A college, obviously, but symbiosis is a relationship between two um, um, organisms and they both give something to each other to survive, right? तो यहाँ पे एनर्जी नीड है, देखते हैं। प्रीडेटरी एल्गी नहीं। कैल्शियम कार्बोनेट स्केलेटन वो तो पॉलिप्स बनाते हैं। 90% एब्सोल्युटली हो गया। आगे बढ़ते हैं। कोरल ब्लीचिंग कब होती है? क्या सपोर्ट नहीं हो रहा? ऑलराइट, ओके। दिस पार्टनरशिप इज आल्सो रीव्स ग्रेटर वल्नरेबिलिटी। ठीक है। वाटर टेम्परेचर राइजेस, coral becomes stressed, expels zooxanthelle. Without algae, coral turns white. Phenomenon was bleaching. अच्छा, bleaching इस कारण से होती है। Okay, let's see. Carbon dioxide dissolves. Coral polyps expels zooxanthelle. यही सही है। खत्म हो गई बात। इनमें से क्या सही नहीं है? They occupy very small proportion of the ocean floor. Is that so? पहले पैसेज में कहीं लिखा हुआ था। ठीक है। Since the 1980s, mass bleaching events have become more frequent. Ocean acidification poses additional threat. Ocean absorbs excess carbon dioxide. Water becomes more acidic. Acidic water dissolves calcium carbonate, weakening skeletons. Becomes harder for corals to build new skeleton. Okay, ठीक है. Socioeconomic consequences of reef degradation are enormous. Estimated 1 billion people depend on coral reefs for food and livelihood. In coastal nations, reef protect coastlines from wave erosion, storm surges. Saving these requires not only mere local conservation efforts, but a fundamental reduction in global carbon emissions. ठीक है, देखते हैं इनमें से क्या सपोर्ट नहीं हो रहा है। Occupy very small proportion, supported. Protects coastlines, supported. Bleaching events have become more frequent, supported. They can fully recover? No, they can't. So option is D. CBD, that's it. ऐसा पैसेज जरूर आएगा। Let's go to next one. All right. How many of you were totally correct? सदानंद तुम्हारा एक गलत हुआ है शायद। चलो, here are the questions. Wow. Two wrong, Ankit. Keshav, all correct, I think. Sarananda, one wrong tha, I know. Second question. From Gradflex, there is no passage here, Ankit. Third question. बस यहाँ पे गलतियां क्या हो सकती है जब तुम लोग नोट पढ़ना भूल जाओ. यही एक चीज है जहां पे गलतियां हो सकती हैं एक एमएससीटी टाइप एग्जाम में, अदरवाइज नो. Okay, we go to the passage now. Here it is. Done with the reading. Question one. Question two. Question number 3. All right. So what all things are asked in the passage? What primarily causes the urban heat island effect? Okay. So primary reason for urban heat island effect is what we need to find out. Second, we need to find out is very specific question. 2003 European heat wave is cited in the passage to demonstrate what? Then we have not mentioned as a mitigation strategy. So we have to look for mitigation strategy. That's it. Let's see. Walk from a city park into surrounding streets. एकदम poetry type दे रखी है. You feel the difference almost immediately. Streets are noticeably hotter. This is urban heat island effect. Phenomenon made by cities are significantly warmer than the rural areas surrounding them, often 2 to 5 degrees Celsius. ठीक है, okay. So passes about urban heat effect. Let's see. Causes are multiple and interconnected. Cities replace vegetation and soil, which naturally cool through evapotranspiration with concrete, asphalt, and building materials absorb heat during the day, release it slowly overnight. फिर इसी बात को आगे एक्सप्लेन किया. डार्क सर्फेस लाइक रोड्स, ये सब चीजें बोली गई हैं, बोली गई हैं, बोली गई हैं. ठीक है. फिर आगे कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस, पॉपुलेशन, सिटी प्लैनेट्स, आर्किटेक्चर की बात हो रही है. बेसिकली यहीं पे हमारा आंसर है. सेकंड पैराग्राफ हैज द आंसर. इंक्रीज सोलर रेडिएशन, ओजोन डिप्लीशन, नो. Replacement of vegetation with heat absorbing built materials, exactly. That is clearly mentioned, so B is correct over here. Cool. बाकी चीजें नहीं थी. यहीं से आंसर मिल गया हमें. आंसर बी. सेकेंड इज 2003 यूरोपियन हीट वेव. यहाँ पे दिया हुआ है. Vulnerable populations, the elderly, young children, those with chronic illness face the greatest risk from heat-related illness and mortality. Heat wave which killed estimated this many people across the continent, with urban dwellers disproportionately represented among the victims. Let's see. Inadequacy of emergency cooling centers, नहीं है. Global climate, ये बात की ही नहीं गई. Disproportionate mortality risk की बात की गई है. C is correct. Perfect. इनमें से कौन सा mitigation strategy नहीं है? Okay, let's see. एंड में होगा वो सिटी प्लानर्स एंड इंजीनियर्स. देखो कितना सिंपल है. पहला है ग्रीन रूफ्स, अर्बन फॉरेस्ट, vegetation, evapotranspiration, cool roofs coated with reflective materials, permeable pavements allow water to seep through, supporting evaporative cooling. Interventions when implemented scale can meaningfully reduce urban temperatures, deliver co-benefits including stormwater management, biodiversity and improved well-being. क्या इनमें से नहीं दिया हुआ था? कोरल रूफ दिया हुआ था, अर्बन फॉरेस्ट ग्रीन रूफ दिया हुआ है, permeable pavements दिया हुआ है, ये भी दिया हुआ है, ये नहीं दिया. So B, C, D is correct. Keshav, you got it right. Others, Sadanand got it right. Ankit got one wrong. Aditya got one wrong. तो यहाँ भी गलती हो सकती है इसका मतलब. No worries. Let's go to next one. Here we are. So read the questions in 20 seconds each. Next. Next. Okay. Read the questions. Let's go to the passage now. Done with the reading? Let's go to the questions. Which of the following best captures the author's tone toward the digital divide? 30 seconds to solve. Next. Next. Tell me something. Is this speed of session okay with you? Within 6 minutes, we're doing everything. I hope it's okay. Chalo, let's go to the passage now. Okay, so the first one was about which of the following best captures author's tone. Tone की बात करी गई है. Then, according to the passage, the digital divide affects women and girls primarily because women are less technologically literate than men by nature. Digital platforms are designed primarily for male users. Cultural and economic barriers restrict their access to devices in public spaces. Government subsidy programs explicitly exclude women from eligibility. Girls underperform in STEM education, limiting the digital skills. Okay. अगर तुमने पैसेज ना भी पढ़ा हो तो कुछ यहाँ से एलिमिनेट तो हो ही सकता है जो एक्सट्रीम ऑप्शन है. है ना? Okay. Second, talked about passage suggests that digital literacy correlates strongly with geographical proximity to urban centers, prior levels of formal education, speed of a household's internet connection, age and gender of the primary device user, ownership of a personal smartphone rather than shared devices. Okay, let's see. In an era connected when internet connectivity is increasingly central to economic participation, all these things, education, okay, the gap between those who have reliable digital access and those who do not emerged as one of the defining inequalities of our time. The divide known as the digital divide operates along multiple dimensions: access to devices, affordability of broadband connections, digital literacy, and the quality and relevance of online content. Okay, यहाँ पे introduction हुआ है. Timer is helping. That's great. The spatial dimension of divide is particularly stark. While urban professional Mumbai, Delhi enjoy high-speed connections, rural areas may intermittent mobile data, no access at all. This geographic disparity mirrors and reinforces existing patterns of socioeconomic inequality. Okay, cool. Rural students who lack reliable internet struggled acutely during COVID-19 pandemic when online learning became the only option. Income education compound the divide. So यहाँ पे बताया गया है, this one talked about the geography. Second paragraph talks about geography. Third, income and education talks about basically the income. Devices data plans represent significant share of household income for low earning families. ओके तो यहाँ प्रॉब्लम पूरी की पूरी यही है कि कुछ लोग इतने पैसे ही नहीं क्यों खरीद पाए. ठीक है, जियोग्राफी, इनकम. कमिंग टू थर्ड, दैट इज जेंडर. आई थिंक दैट इज अ क्वेश्चन देयर, राइट? Gender adds another layer of complexity. Women and girls face cultural or economic barriers that restrict access to devices. This was about gender. Okay. Addressing the digital. So here the author is even addressing the situation, right? He's addressing the situation. Basically, if he's addressing the situation, that means author is not neutral. Yes or no? Author is whatever he is, he or she is not neutral for sure. Divide requires a multi-pronged approach, expanding physical infra, subsidizing devices and data for low-income households, integrating digital literacy into formal and informal education, ensuring online platforms are accessible in local languages without deliberate intervention. Digital revolution risks becoming yet another mechanism for concentrating opportunity among those who already have the most. ठीक है. Okay, so we have everything here. The passage is marked, the mental map is made. तो ऑथर का टोन कैसा है? सेलिब्रेटरी, बहुत खुश है क्या? नहीं है. अलार्मिस्ट, वार्निंग दैट डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजी विल डिस्ट्रॉय ट्रेडिशनल कम्युनिटीज. डिस्ट्रॉय, इतना तो ऑथर एक्सट्रीम पे नहीं था. न्यूट्रल तो ऑथर बिल्कुल भी नहीं है, उसको कंसर्न है. कंसर्न्ड एंड एनालिटिकल, या ही इज एनालाइजिंग थिंग्स, ही इज कंसर्न्ड आल्सो. हाइलाइटिंग सिस्टमिक इनइक्वालिटीज, दिस लुक्स करेक्ट. डिसमिसिव नहीं है. ऑलराइट, सो डी इज करेक्ट हियर. सेकेंड वन, डिजिटल डिवाइड, तो औरतों को और लड़कियों को कुछ सोशल कंडीशन के कारण एक्सेस नहीं मिल पा रहा था, ये लिखा हुआ है. तो कौन सा है? लेस लिटरेट, नो. डिजाइन फॉर मेल, नो. कल्चरल इकोनॉमिक बैरियर्स restrict their access to device, yes, that was mentioned directly. Subsidy programs and underperformance STEM, ये तो बिल्कुल आउट ऑफ कॉन्टेक्स्ट है. देन डिजिटल लिटरेसी कोरिलेट स्ट्रांगली विद ज्योग्राफिकल और प्रॉक्सिमिटी, ये बात दी हुई है, पर क्या ये स्ट्रॉन्ग, थोड़ा सा ये मुश्किल हो सकता है कुछ लोग के लिए, ये वाला क्वेश्चन है ना. देखो, केशव इज सेइंग बी, Aditya and Sadanand says A, others I don't know what they are saying. So this was also given in the passage, but the thing here is the keyword is strongly. Prior levels of formal education, speed of household centered connection, age and gender, ownership of person, ये सारी बातें करी गई हैं इसके अंदर. सबसे स्ट्रॉन्ग कोरिलेशन आखिरी में दिखता है हमें, जहां बोला गया है इंटीग्रेटिंग डिजिटल लिटरेसी इनटू फॉर्मल एंड इनफॉर्मल एजुकेशन. अगर ये सही रहा तो आगे काम बन जाएगा ऑटोमेटिकली. सो प्रायर लेवल्स ऑफ फॉर्मल एजुकेशन इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट, मोस्ट स्ट्रॉन्ग कोरिलेशन with digital literacy. Rest all are supporting things. Do you understand? जिन लोगों ने ए मार्क किया है वो ये भूल गए थे कि सेकंड पैराग्राफ सिर्फ ज्योग्राफी के बारे में था, बाकी पैराग्राफ्स इनकम, जेंडर और भी चीजों के बारे में है. All right. So even if a passage is easy, you might do wrong. So as I'm seeing, apart from the first passage, in every passage, all of you, I think except Keshav, is doing something or other wrong. Ankit, what about you? Let's go to next one. या केशव वहां भी था बिल्कुल से. नेक्स्ट. नेक्स्ट. I hope you're not noting down the keywords of every question so that it's easy for you to navigate through the passage. UK Supreme Court ruling on Uber drivers. ये हमें ध्यान देना है. Here, gig workers typically earn less. The reason? Here, main controversy discussed in the passage regarding gig work. Main controversy regarding gig work. Okay, so here is the passage. Here are the questions. नेक्स्ट। नेक्स्ट। All right. UK Supreme Court ruling on Uber drivers. Gig economy is legal, illegal in common law jurisdictions. Failure of gig economy model in European markets. Example of legal pushback against contractor classification of gig workers. Algorithmic management violates human rights legislation. Superiority of judicial intervention over legislative action. जैसे वहां पहुंचेंगे हमें तुरंत आंसर मिलेगा। यहाँ पे they'll earn less, they are less skilled, therefore command lower wages, skill की बात है। They work fewer hours, net earnings fall when self-employment costs are deducted. Platforms deliberately suppress wages to maximize profit margins. They operate in saturated markets with intense competition among workers. यहाँ पे skill की बात है, यहाँ पे hours की बात है, यहाँ पे self-employment costs की बात है. There's about the people, the employers increasing profit. There's about competition. Let's see which one is correct. Here, main controversy. Digital platforms are more efficient than traditional employment agencies. Gig workers should be classified as employees or independent contractors. Gig economy platforms should be regulated by central or state governments. Gig workers can form effective trade unions. Algorithmic management constitutes an invasion of worker privacy. Let's see. First, rise of gig economy has fundamentally reshaped the relationship between labor and capital in the 21st century. Enabled by digital platforms that match workers with short-term, ठीक है, सारी चीजें हैं, delivering food, ferrying passengers, all that stuff. India alone, tens of, ठीक है, यहाँ बता दिया introduction gig economy का. Next, proponents celebrate gig economy for the flexibility it ostensibly offers workers. Parent can schedule rides, assignments, lectures, skilled tradesman. ठीक है, ये सब बातें एग्जाम्पल की हैं, हमारे काम की नहीं है क्वेश्चन आंसर करने के लिए. सो वी आर जस्ट काइंड ऑफ एक्सक्लूडिंग इट, राइट? दिस नैरेटिव, जब भी ये हुआ तो हम पढ़ेंगे ध्यान से. नैरेटिव ऑफ ऑटोनॉमी एंड एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप हैज बीन पावरफुली promoted by the platforms themselves, which typically classify the workers independent contractors rather than employees. Oh, ये पैसेज ये था भी यहाँ पे. आर्ग्यूमेंट क्या पता हो ये मेन, अगर आगे सपोर्ट करेंगे इस बात को, सपोर्ट हर कोई करेगा, सारे अलग पैराग्राफ, दैट विल बी द करेक्ट आंसर, राइट? ओके, do you understand? So I am just skipping the things which are examples and not relevant to the questions. However, this classification is at heart of a fierce ongoing legal and political battle. ठीक है, तो इस आर्ग्यूमेंट को यहाँ पे एक्सटेंड किया गया है, मतलब लग रहा है शायद यही मेन आर्ग्यूमेंट लग रहा है मेरे को देखने में फिलहाल, कि इस पे लीगल पॉलिटिकल बैटल है. एम्प्लॉयज एंजॉय रेंज ऑफ प्रोटेक्शंस, इंडिपेंडेंट कॉन्ट्रैक्टर्स डू नॉट. मिनिमम वेज गारंटीज, ओवर टाइम पे, ये सब चीजें, हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस, पेड लीव, राइट टू ऑर्गेनाइज कलेक्टिवली. Classifying workers as contractors, platforms shift the cost and risk of employment onto workers themselves. Gig driver who falls ill receives no sick pay. इससे आंसर मिल रहा है हमें कि क्यों उनको कम पैसे मिल रहे हैं, क्योंकि अगर उनका जो खुद का जो कॉस्ट है ना, जैसे बीमार पड़ गया, उन चीज़ों को अगर हटा दो तो पैसे कम हो जाएंगे. ओके, रिसर्च कंसिस्टेंटली शोज गिग वर्कर्स कैन अर्न लेस ऑन एन एवरेज देन इक्विवेलेंट एम्प्लॉयज. कॉस्ट ऑफ सेल्फ एम्प्लॉयमेंट क्लियर कर दिया इस बात को. इनकम वोलेटिलिटी इज हायर. Some jurisdictions have begun to push back. UK Supreme Court ruled that Uber drivers are workers entitled to minimum wage and holiday pay. India's emerging economy policy debate is only just beginning. Central question: digital transformation of work can deliver efficiency, flexibility without exacerbating precarity remains unsolved. ठीक है, हमें सारे आंसर मिल चुके हैं. मेन कंट्रोवर्सी क्या है कि उनको एम्प्लॉय मानना चाहिए या इंडिपेंडेंट कॉन्ट्रैक्टर मानना चाहिए. पूरा पूरा खेल ही यही है. Do you get it? In second paragraph, they discuss the argument, and every other consequent paragraph, successive paragraph, that is third and fourth, specifically support that argument. So B is correct. Coming to next one. Why they earn less? क्योंकि उनका जो सेल्फ एम्प्लॉयमेंट कॉस्ट है उसको काट दो, पैसे कम हो जाएंगे. दैट इज इन ऑप्शन सी. एंड उबर ड्राइवर का क्यों था ये एग्जाम्पल ऑफ लीगल पुशबैक था अगेंस्ट कॉन्ट्रैक्टर क्लासिफिकेशन. क्लासिफिकेशन की बात हो रही थी, देखो यहाँ पे क्लियरली मेंशन्ड है. वर्कर्स एंटाइटल्ड टू मिनिमम वेज एंड हॉलीडे पे रूल्ड आउट उबर ड्राइवर्स. ठीक है, तो इधर यहाँ पे इलीगल की बात खत्म है, फेलियर की बात खत्म थी, लॉजिक मैनेजमेंट नहीं था. superiority of judicial people can mark E here, people can get confused, but there is no need to be, because it's a legal pushback against contractor classification, क्योंकि वहां पे ऐसा बोल दिया गया कि भाई आपको इनको हेल्थ पे वगैरह और ये सब मिलना चाहिए. ऑलराइट, मिनिमम वेज एंड हॉलीडे पे मिलना चाहिए. हेल्थ पे बोल रहा हूँ मैं, हॉलीडे पे एंड मिनिमम वेज. ऑलराइट, सो द आंसर्स आर बी, सी and C. B, C, C. Who got everything correct? Keshav got everything correct. Ankit got only one correct, I think. Sadanand, Aditya. Okay. We're done with 5 passages in 1 hour. Wow. Let's go to next one. Here I'm starting it. First question. Do you think it is helpful, this session? खुद बैठ के इतने पैसे तुम लोग ना करते, 1 घंटे में 5 पैसे, मुझे पक्का पता है. भले आसान है, एमएस टोटली रेलेवेंट है, बाकी कैट जीमैट के लिए ये इजी टू मॉडरेट लेवल के पैसेज हैं, लेकिन तुम लोग ये भी 1 घंटे 5 तो नहीं करते, ये मुझे अच्छे से पता है. इट्स लाइक स्टडी विद मी सेशन, राइट? 1 घंटे से ऊपर हो गया. नेक्स्ट. नेक्स्ट. यस सदानंद. नाउ द पैसेज. Now the questions at 1:30. Next. Next. Let's see. So first talks about herd immunity. Refer to what does herd immunity refer to in the context of the passage? Second is why do measles outbreak tend to cluster in communities with high vaccine hesitancy? And now we have which of the following is identified in the passage as a cause of vaccine hesitancy. Vaccine hesitancy, measles through vaccine hesitancy and herd immunity is what we need to look at. थोड़ा और जल्दी करेंगे. देखो अब एक और टेक्निक कि इतना अगर पैसेज साइंस बेस्ड है तो बहुत ही डेटा ड्रिवन क्वेश्चंस होंगे. तो मुझे देखना है हर्ड इम्यूनिटी कहाँ पे आई है. यहाँ कहीं दिख रही है क्या? नहीं दिख रही, नहीं दिख रही. यहाँ दिखी हर्ड इम्यूनिटी. ये क्या होता है? इफ इनफ पीपल आर इम्यून, इन्फेक्शियस डिजीज कैन नॉट स्प्रेड इफिशिएंटली बिकॉज चेन ऑफ ट्रांसमिशन इज रिपीटेडली ब्रोकन. ठीक है. ओके 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 ओके. फॉर मीजल्स ये भी आ गया, वन ऑफ द मोस्ट contagious diseases. Approximately 95% of population must be immune through vaccination or prior infection to prevent sustained transmission. Herd immunity has equity dimensions. Who cannot receive vaccines, like newborns, certain allergies, these people rely on the immunity of those around them. ठीक है, तो आसपास इम्यूनिटी तो उनके पास भी चीज नहीं पहुंचेगी. ठीक है, चलो देखते हैं. पहला, हर्ड इम्यूनिटी किस लिए है? नेचुरल इम्यूनिटी डेवलप्ड बाय एनिमल्स? नो. इंटायर पॉपुलेशन? यस. आगे, मीजल्स. These communities have weaker immune systems. Measles is more contagious. Vaccination rates drop below herd immunity threshold. Vulnerable individuals lose protection. Okay. Public health authorities prioritize vaccination. Hesitant communities are more likely to travel internationally and import the disease. Let's see. आगे पढ़ते हैं इसको. Vaccination rates fall below threshold. These individuals lose their protection. हो गया. ये रहा. आगे. वैक्सीन हेजिटेंसी का कौन सा कॉज है? कहाँ गया ये रहा वैक्सीन हेजिटेंसी. रिलक्टेंस और रिफ्यूजल टू वैक्सीनेट has been identified as top 10 threats. Causes are complex, ranging from misinformation through social media to historical experiences of medical abuse. जैसे अभी कोविड में लगा कि यार लोगों को हार्ट अटैक आ रहा है ना. Effective responses must be equally multifaceted, correcting misinformation, building community trust, and ensuring equitable access. Misinformation type कोई चीज होनी चाहिए ऑप्शन में, वही सही होगा. Let's see. High financial cost? No. Government policies? No. Historical experiences of medical abuse? यही है. When is the vaccine less effective? Competition? No. See, did you understand what I did over here? Because it's a science-based passage. Any science-based passage is normally fact-driven. Normally, not always. And when it is so, just look at those keywords, map it to the where they are occurring inside the passage and get the answer. Is that clear? We don't even have to read the entire passage, specifically for an exam like this. You like it? So basically in 3 minutes, you can read the passage, and in the next 1.5 minutes, you can answer all the questions. These are the questions which require only 4.5 minutes. The kind of passages. Let's go to the next one. Okay. All right. Here we are. The art of satire, this can be a bit difficult. It is probably arts, philosophy, something like that. Let's see. Next. Okay, let's go to the passage now. Done with the reading? Let's go to the questions. The next one. Next. All right. Let's see. Here the questions talk about author's primary purpose. पहला है celebrate satire as superior to all other forms of political commentary. Warn readers against consuming satirical content uncritically. Examine the mechanisms, risks, and value of satire as a form of critique. Argue that social media has degraded the quality of contemporary satire. Provide a chronological history of satirical writing from antiquity to the present. ठीक है. Swift's A Modest Proposal, Swift एक writer थे, is used passage to illustrate what? How satire can be misunderstood by contemporary audiences, use of irony to expose exploitation more powerfully than direct argument, danger of satirical content reinforcing harmful stereotypes, why 18th century satire was more effective than modern forms, tendency of satirists to punch down at marginalized groups. थोड़ा ये मुश्किल लगा होगा बाकी सबसे, है ना, पिछले पैसेजेस से. Colbert Bump phenomenon mentioned passage refers to what? Increase in political engagement, Stephen Colbert's positive influence on election outcomes, viewers interpreting satirical content literally rather than as intended critique, viral speed of satirical content across social media platforms, research showing that satire reduces trust in political institutions. All right. ठीक है. So now we need to look at Colbert Bump. To look at modest proposal कैसे use किया गया है. I mean, look at the primary purpose, which can be understood only after reading the passage and avoiding the examples. Okay, so let's go for that. कोलबर्ट बम्प यहाँ पे है, ये क्या बोल रहा है, और यह रहा modest proposal. Okay, ठीक है. Satire has been a potent instrument of social and political criticism for millennia. फिर ये एग्जाम्पल्स दे रखे हैं, ये भी एग्जाम्पल दे रखा है, ये भी एग्जाम्पल है. Example, television, print, social media. At its best, satire does what straightforward political commentary often cannot. It makes people laugh at power, and doing so exposes the absurdity, hypocrisy, and pretension that authority so often clothes itself in. Okay. Primary bus मालूम पड़ रहा है. Celebrate satire, warn readers, examine mechanisms, argue, provide. Okay, ठीक है, देखते हैं आगे. Mechanism of satire depend on a productive tension between what is said and what is meant. gap between surface and substance. Satirists praises the very thing they are attacking. Swift in this essay earnestly recommends that the Irish poor should sell their children to the English, turning the cold logic of economic exploitation to its grotesquest bhadda extreme to expose how little the powerful actually care about the Irish poor. कि अपने बच्चों को ही खाने में दे दो. Irony है बहुत तगड़ी यहाँ पे. Let's see. Modest proposal. Satire misunderstood नहीं था. Use of irony to expose exploitation more powerfully than direct argument. Danger circular. Okay. This is the correct one. Totally correct one because irony has been used over here. Okay, so one question marked. Done. आगे देखते हैं. Yet satire carries genuine risks, poorly calibrated. It can reinforce the very stereotypes it sets out to subvert. When satire targets marginalized groups rather than those in power, punching down rather than up, it crosses from critique into cruelty. The history of political cartooning is littered with examples of that with the passage of time reveals more about prejudices. ठीक है. Problem of misinterpretation. Satirical intent is not always legible to all audiences. Content designer's critique can be received as endorsement by those who share the target's views. Research suggests that consumers who miss the satirical frame often take satirical content at face value, effect sometimes called the Colbert bump. Let's see. Colbert bump. Increase in political engagement, positive influence, viewers interpreting satirical content literally rather than as intended critique. हाँ, यही तो है. Colbert is basically when people misinterpret and they look at it, they take the literal meaning, but not the figurative meaning. So C is correct over here. Viral spread satirical content, social media की बात ही नहीं हो रही है. Political institution में trust कम हो जाए, इसकी बात भी नहीं हो रही है. Political engagement among viewers of satirical programs. Colbert बम इसकी बात ही नहीं कर रहा. वो बात इसकी कर रहा है कि व्यूवर्स कैसे इंटरप्रेट करते हैं, वो लिटरली इंटरप्रेट कर देते हैं. सी दोनों आंसर हो गए. इससे हमारा पहला भी आंसर हो जाएगा. प्राइमरी पर्पस सेलिब्रेट करना तो नहीं है, रीडर को वॉर्न करना भी नहीं था. और यू सोशल मीडिया वाली बात है ही नहीं, क्रोनॉलॉजिकल हिस्ट्री दी ही नहीं गई. एग्जामिन द मैकेनिज्म, रिस्क एंड वैल्यू, सब कुछ बता दिया कि व्हाट इज द डेफिनेशन, व्हाट आर द रिस्क्स, व्हाट आर द वैल्यूज and of satire as a form of critique. Satire as a form of critique. See, the thing is, if I have to give a kind of title to the passage, it should be satire as a form of critique. Yes or no? Title सोचो अगर तो ये मिलना चाहिए और यही हमारा मेन आर्ग्यू प्राइमरी पर्पस भी होगा. Yes or no? Did you understand? So correct answers are C, B, C. Who is correct here? Keshav is correct. Sadanand, you got one wrong. Ankit got two wrong. Clear? Let's go to the next one. The questions. Good evening, Aditi. Okay. Answers. Okay. First question. Passage identify as the primary driver of increasing water scarcity. Water scarcity is keyword here. Indus water treaty is cited in the passage to demonstrate what? तो ये keyword है, इसको हम देखेंगे, मैप करेंगे. Third, NASA Grace mission data is referenced in the passage to support which claim? इसको हम रेफर करेंगे. NASA Grace mission, Indus water treaty and increasing water scarcity. ये तीन चीजें हमें यहाँ पे ध्यान देनी है. Is that clear, everyone? That is what. अच्छा, tell me something. From the last three passages, we have been doing this, mapping the words. Because they're data-driven passages. So how many of you are doing it this way? केशव, ऐसे ही कर रहे हो? सवाल सॉल्व करने पूरा पढ़ रहे हो? Let's see. I look for Indus Water Treaty and NASA Grace Mission first of all. NASA Grace Mission मुझे दिखाई दे गया, ये रहा. Indus Water Treaty दिखाई दे रही है कहीं पे मेरे को? अभी तो नहीं दिखी. चलो NASA Grace Mission पढ़ लेते हैं क्या है. India faces particular challenges. ऊपर कुछ challenges होंगे. Okay. The Gangetic Plain, home to hundreds of millions of people, relies heavily on groundwater for irrigation. Satellite data from NASA's. Okay, Keshav. Grace mission revealed that aquifer levels in northwest India declined significantly over a 3-year observation period. If this depletion continues, the agricultural productivity that feeds much of the subcontinent could be severely compromised. पहला यहाँ पे दिया है कि observation. What? This answers what? And this answers what is going to happen, you know, the outcome. Okay. Support which claim? Which claim? ठीक है. Satellite technology has revolutionized water management globally. नहीं तो इससे तो हम मान ये तो नहीं हुआ है ना globally. ये तो वैसे भी इंडिया का मिशन है. ग्लोबल वाला बात वैसे ही गलत हो गई. India's groundwater reserves are being depleted at an alarming rate. Exactly. हो गया. आगे पढ़ने की जरूरत ही नहीं है. One question answered. Now. Okay, Ankit. Indus Water Treaty. Where is it mentioned? I don't see it. Last में है. Yet conflict is not the only possible outcome. Water sharing agreements have been successfully negotiated between nations with hostile relationships. Indus Waters Treaty between India and Pakistan, negotiated with World Bank, mediation 1960, maintained through multiple wars, stand as an enduring example of what water diplomacy can achieve. Okay. What water diplomacy can achieve. मतलब कि अगर दुश्मनी भी हो तो वो चीज आगे चल सकती है, सस्टेन हो सकती है. दैट इज व्हाट इट इज मेंशनिंग. फेलियर ऑफ इंटरनेशनल डिप्लोमेसी, फेलियर तो नहीं हुआ. इंडिया डोमिनेंट पोजीशन ऑफ पाकिस्तान इन वाटर नहीं, डोमिनेंट नहीं है, दोनों सपोर्ट कर रहे थे. वाटर शेयरिंग एग्रीमेंट्स कैन परसिस्ट इवन बिटवीन एडवर्सरियल नेशंस. करेक्ट. वी आंसर्ड टू विदाउट इवन रीडिंग द एंटायर पैसेज. इज दैट क्लियर, अदिति? इज दैट क्लियर? फर्स्ट वन, primary driver of increasing water scarcity. ठीक है. Industrial pollution, population growth, rising food demand, poor governance, corruption, excessive domestic water consumption, militarization of transboundary river agreements by powerful states. ठीक है, इसको देख लेते हैं कौन सा सही लग रहा है. Water is the, अब इसके लिए पढ़ना पड़ेगा. Water is foundation of human civilization. ठीक है, सारी बातें हुई हैं, हिस्ट्री में रहा है. ओके ओके, आज के टाइम पे इतना हो गया. ऑल्टरिंग प्रेसिपिटेशन पैटर्न्स, ग्राउंड वाटर अवेलेबिलिटी बात यहाँ पे की गई है. नासा ग्रेस मिशन में भी अवेलेबिलिटी की बात करी गई है कि इतनी जनसंख्या बढ़ती जा रही है. तो मालूम पड़ गया है कि जहाँ जनसंख्या बढ़ रही है और फूड का प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है, वहां पे वाटर अवेलेबिलिटी की दिक्कत आ रही है. सो लुक्स लाइक बी इज करेक्ट. लेट मी रीड मोर. Stats are arresting. Roughly 2 billion people currently lack safe drinking water. 4 billion experience water scarcity. Agriculture counts for roughly 70% of global fresh water withdrawals. Agriculture मतलब food नहीं मिलेगा. Food demand rises with population growth. हो गया. प्रेशर ऑन वाटर रिसोर्सेज इंटेंसिफाइज पॉपुलेशन ग्रोथ से हुआ फूड वाला प्रॉब्लम फिर उससे हुआ वाटर स्कार्सिटी एंड वी आर डन विद इट सो आंसर इज ऑप्शन बी क्लियर लेट्स गो टू नेक्स्ट वन Aditi, because you've joined now, I'll tell you the idea is to that you will get in normally in other exams like CAT, we read the passage first, then go to the questions. In any exam which is more about speed based, we'll be reading the questions first, then the passage. The reason is simple because mostly the questions are easy to moderate level. So we will just map the keywords. That is what we are going to do on 4th April. So you will get 20 seconds each to read 3 questions, which make it 1 minute. Then 3 minutes to read the passage, and again 30 seconds each to solve all the questions. All right. So here we start the timer now. And here is the first question. Next. Next. Now the passage. Keyword era. This concern. Okay. Here you are. Now the questions. नेक्स्ट। नेक्स्ट। All right. So AI bias in healthcare, black box AI systems, why AI is promising for low and middle income countries. These three things is what we need to check out, right? Is that clear? So I'll just map, these words and see where are they occurring in the real passage. All right. So let's go for that. Okay. Black box AI in healthcare. Okay. Let me see. Do we have something like that? AI in healthcare black box. कहीं दिख रहा है black box या AI in healthcare ये रहा black box. Second, मतलब first कुछ था. चलो second से पढ़ ले. The challenge of interpretability. Many high-performing AI models are effectively black boxes. They produce outputs, diagnosis, risks, risk scores, treatment recommendations without providing comprehensible reason for the conclusions. Clinicians understandably resist trusting systems they cannot interrogate. ठीक है, तो so basically यहाँ मालूम ये पड़ रहा है कि जो human clinicians हैं वो इन इन एआई को ना एआई मॉडल्स को आमतौर पे इतना ट्रस्ट नहीं करते क्योंकि उसको वो इंटेरोगेट नहीं कर सकते. जो बोला सही बोल दिया, कंक्लूजन दे दिया पर रीजन नहीं दिया. दैट इज व्हाई दे आर ब्लैक बॉक्सेस. ओके, लेट्स सी. ब्लैक बॉक्स ये रहा ब्लैक बॉक्स. स्लोअर, प्रोड्यूस आउटपुट विदाउट एक्सप्लेनिंग द रीजनिंग. परफेक्ट. डिफिकल्ट टू ट्रस्ट हो गया. ओके, लेट्स सी. एआई इन हेल्थ केयर की बात कर रहा था, यहां पे भी है. Deployment of AI in clinical settings raises profound challenges. There is a first, ये first था, ये second था. There's a question of bias. AI models learn from historical data. If data reflects existing disparities in healthcare access, quality, and outcomes, the models may replicate and amplify those disparities. कि पहले से ट्रेन है ना किसी मॉडल पे, कोई चीज अगर पहले से खराब चल रही है, क्या पता उसको और खराब कर दे. इसी कारण से diagnostic algorithm trained predominantly on images from one population may perform poorly on images from another. क्या पता किसी इमेज दिखा दी गई. अब इंसान अलग अलग टाइप के हैं, किसी एक पॉपुलेशन की इमेज पे ट्रेन मॉडल को किया गया एआई मॉडल को, तो हो सकता है किसी और पॉपुलेशन पे वो अलग रिजल्ट प्रोड्यूस कर दे. दैट्स अ पॉसिबिलिटी, राइट? देखते हैं इससे हमारा आंसर हो रहा है क्या. कुछ फायदा हो रहा है इससे. एआई बायस इन हेल्थ केयर अराइजेस प्राइमरली फ्रॉम व्हाट? डिलिबरेट डिस्क्रिमिनेशन. डिलिबरेट तो नहीं है. टेंडेंसी ऑफ ये टू फेवर ओल्डर ट्रीटमेंट मेथड्स, ऐसा भी नहीं है, टेंडेंसी नहीं है उसकी कोई भी. ट्रेनिंग ऑन हिस्टोरिकल डेटा रिफ्लेक्ट्स एग्जिस्टिंग हेल्थ केयर डिस्पैरिटीज. यही तो है, हिस्टोरिकल डेटा पे ट्रेन किया गया उसको. सी इज द प्रॉब्लम. दैट इज व्हाई एआई वुड बी बायस्ड. इनसफिशिएंट कंप्यूटिंग पावर नॉट मेंशन. लैक ऑफ रेगुलेटरी ओवरसाइट नहीं, नॉट मेंशनड. मॉडल डेवलपमेंट फेज. तो ये है कि हिस्टोरिकल डेटा पे किया गया है. पहला वाला, what makes AI especially promising for low and middle income countries? Okay, so here it is B, here it is C. Let's see यहाँ पे क्या होना चाहिए. तो मैं एक काम करता हूँ, फटाफट देखता हूँ लो एंड मिडिल इनकम कंट्रीज में पैसेज में कहाँ बात करी गई है. AI into healthcare, speed, opening possibilities that would seem fantastical. Generation ago, machine learning, trained on data sets, can detect cancer, all that stuff. Natural language processing, ये भी ठीक है. Predictive modeling and flag potentials. Potential benefits are especially significant in low and middle income countries. Ratio of patients to trained clinicians is often catastrophically low. AI that can, अच्छा, तो ट्रेन क्लिनिशियंस का रेशियो पेशेंट से कम है, तो हो सकता है कि इनके आने से, एआई मॉडल्स आने से, इन क्लिनिशियंस को एक सपोर्ट सिस्टम मिल जाए. ये उसे रिप्लेस भी कर सकते हैं क्या? single radiologist to effectively extend their diagnostic capacity. So extend, it's not replacing the humans, right? So let's see. Cheaper to develop than training human clinicians, ऐसी बात नहीं कही है. Extend specialist diagnostic capacity populations with limited access to trained clinicians. Limited access, ratio कम की बात भी आ गई, extension की बात भी आ गई, support system की बात भी आ गई. From AI, so B is the correct answer over here. Is that clear? So B, B, C will be the correct one. How many of you got everything correct? B, B, C. Son, you got B, C, B. दो गलत हो गए भाई. एग्जाम है 4 तारीख को. सदानंद क्या कर रहे हो? केशव, what did you get? Aditi, Ankit, Aditi is not saying anything. When is maths class, she's the one who answers the first. But in VARC, she doesn't answer at all. Throw some likes. There are likes today. You do not get time. You do not get that kind of, oh, wow moment, which normally happens with quant class. But here also, wow moment is there because even without reading the entire passage, getting the answers correct, which won't happen in CAT. I'm saying it again, but this will happen in MSCT. All right. We're done with 9 passages, guys. 9 passages in less than 2 hours. Isn't that a wow element? जल्दी से like कुछ थ्रो करो यार, थोड़ा मजा आए मेरे को भी. नहीं, कौन सा होता है? Yes. Heart in eyes. आंखों में दिल आ गया. हाँ? Okay. You don't answer this question. Oh, Sadanand, why? Anyways, let's go to the next one. Timer starts here. ब्रेक चाहिए केशव? 10वां सवाल कर लेते फिर ब्रेक करेंगे. या 9 9 अच्छा नंबर है. 9 पे ब्रेक कर लेते हैं. दैट्स अ नाइस आइडिया. Break. What's the time now? It's 10:58. Break till what time? 11:10. Break 10 till 11:10 p.m. So those who come in between, they can know that session resumes at 11:10 p.m. All right. Mathematics में dopamine मिलता रहता है, यहाँ नहीं मिलता. So I am going on mute now. Be right back at 11:10 sharp. All right, I'm back. 11 11 11 11 एक सीरीज भी है, बड़ी अच्छी सीरीज, मैंने पूरी देखी नहीं. Has anyone watched it? 11 11. Yeah, Keshav, we are back. So let's start in the same way. Timer starts here and we go to the questions. Yeah, I'm audible? Cool. The next one. The next one. Okay. 5 grams per week. Plastics do not biodegrade in any meaningful sense on the passage stage. Okay. So let's go to the passage now. Who all are there? Attendance लगा दो फटाफट. Present, present बोल के. I think only Keshav is there. Okay. Perfect. आदित्य तुम कुछ आंसर नहीं दे रहे आज, क्या बात है? Okay, so let's go to the questions. 10 seconds more. Next. Next. Okay. So here the keywords are most fundamental solution to microplastic contamination. All right. 5 grams per week. Plastics do not biodegrade in any meaningful sense. देखते हैं कहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है ये. 5 grams a week. कहीं लिखा है क्या? दिख रहा है क्या? 555. Do I see anywhere? पहले में नहीं दिख रहा मेरे को, दूसरे में नहीं दिख रहा, तीसरे में भी नहीं दिख रहा, तो है कहाँ? 5 grams a week. यहाँ भी नहीं दिख रहा, यहाँ भी नहीं दिख रहा. ठीक है, पढ़ लेते हैं. नहीं दिख रहा डायरेक्टली तो. Plastics have transformed human life since their widespread adoption. ठीक है, लाइट वेट, ड्यूरेबल, ऑल दैट स्टफ, पैकेजिंग. मेन प्रॉब्लम द प्लास्टिक की जो है वो देखना है हमें, प्लास्टिक का इंट्रोडक्शन नहीं देखना. हाँ, ग्लोबल प्लास्टिक प्रोडक्शन नाउ एक्सीड्स 400 बिलियन टन्स पर ईयर. Environmental crisis. They do not biodegrade in any meaningful sense. They fragment into progressively smaller pieces through exposure to ultraviolet radiation. Pieces that are smaller than 5 millimeters defined as microplastics. The smaller than 1 micrometer nanoplastics. ये हर जगह पाए जाते हैं. The deepest ocean trenches, highest mountain peaks, polar ice caps में चले गए हैं. Tissues of marine animals, blood and placental tissues of humans. चलो ये पढ़ने में भले हमें आंसर करना है, बट सोच के देखो एक बार, कितनी बुरी बात नहीं हो गई है यार. मतलब पोलर की पीक्स पे चले गए हैं, हाईएस्ट माउंटेन पीक्स, डीपेस्ट ओशन ट्रेंचेस तक ये माइक्रोप्लास्टिक जा चुका है. कितनी कमाल की बात, प्लेसेंटल टिश्यू में जा चुका है. दिस इज सच अ बैड थिंग दैट इज हैपनिंग. हाँ, बट वी गॉट द आंसर आई थिंक. ये वाला, rather than breaking down completely, they fragment into ever smaller particles that persist in the environment. Marked B is correct. Okay. Pathways by which microplastics enter the human body are multiple. Ingest through seafood, filter feeding shellfish like mussels and oysters accumulate microplastics from surrounding water, pass them up the food chain. इंसान खाता है उसको. We breathe them in from indoor, outdoor air. Present bottled tap water, salt. Average person may consume as much as 5 grams of plastic per week. इतना ज़्यादा. Roughly equivalent to credit card. Though the precision of this assessment has been contested. Clear है ये रहा. Scale of human plastic consumption. Noting the estimate is contested. हो गया यार. 5 ग्राम पर वीक, मुझे बिलीव नहीं हो रहा है. कॉन्टेस्टेड भी है. चलो. Health implications of microplastic ingestion remain in active research. Lab shows microplastics can induce inflammatory responses, disrupt endocrine function, carry associated chemical additives, environmental pollutants from biological tissue. Epidemiological evidence linking microplastic exposure to specific human health outcomes, however, still limited. What is unambiguous, not ambiguous, unambiguous, is the scale of contamination, inadequacy of current responses. Recycling addresses a small fraction of plastic waste. यही आंसर आएगा. Most ends up in landfill or environment. Only durable solution is to fundamentally reduce the quantity of plastic produced and develop genuinely biodegradable alternatives. आगे आंसर. Reduce production and develop genuinely biodegradable alternatives. So the answers are B, B, and C. Who all got it correct? आदित्य का एक गलत हो गया. सदानंद तुम्हारा भी गलत हो गया. आदित्य तुम्हारा भी गलत. तुम लोग एक क्यों मार्क कर रहे हो इसके लिए? क्या हो गया? क्लियर तो है. इलस्ट्रेट कर रहे हैं ना उसको. डेफिनेटिव तो है ही नहीं ये. कॉन्टेस्टेड है ना. 5 ग्राम्स पर वीक ये कॉन्टेस्टेड है, ये माना गया है, ये अज्यूम्ड है. ये स्टैब्लिश्ड फैक्ट नहीं है, स्टैब्लिश्ड डेफिनेटिव नहीं है. इसी कारण से ए गलत है. तुम लोगों ने ए मार्क किया. नाउ यू नो व्हाई इट्स रॉन्ग. केशव, व्हाट्स योर आंसर? Let's go to next one. So we have cross 100 views here. It's good for a new channel, I believe. BBC written tha. Okay, I think it's gone somewhere. Dr. Saussure's view of language holds what? Okay, next. Yeah, now it's visible, Keshav. Next. Going to the quick passage now. Questions? Next. Next. That's all. So, matter beyond the seminar room, Wittgenstein's shift, Saussure's view of language. ठीक है. Ludwig Wittgenstein, one of the most important philosophers of the 20th century, approached language from a different angle. In his early work, he held that meaningful language must mirror the logical structure of the facts in the world, that a proposition has meaning insofar as it corresponds to a possible state of affairs. Language, on this early view, is essentially a picture of reality. So what is the shift here? The shift is he held that meaningful language must mirror the logical structure. ठीक है, यहाँ शुरू हुआ है. Theory of language, social practice, view of language mirroring reality to view of language is evidence used in practice. Solved. Cool, है ना? Solve हो गया तुरंत ये. Okay. Matter beyond the seminar room and Saussure points of view. Okay. Saussure's point of view कहाँ ये रहा? One inflection tradition. Relationship between a word and its meaning is entirely arbitrary. There's nothing inherently tree-like about the sounds that make up the English word tree. The same object is called arbor in French, baum in German. What gives a word its meaning on this view is not some natural connection between sound and thing, but a system of differences. Each word acquires meaning by differing from all the other words in the language. It's distinctness of the word that it acquires meaning from. Words have natural connections? No. Meaning word derives entirely from its use in? No. Relationship with word and its referent, it's arbitrary, exactly, determined by differences with linguistic system, exactly. So every word is distinct from the other words in the same language. That is how it derives its meaning. Cool. Last is matter beyond the seminar room. ये भी देख लेते हैं. तो यहाँ पे क्या-क्या आ गया हमारा? What do we get here? C मिल गया पहले का, B मिल गया दूसरे का, तीसरे का पता नहीं. चलो. Matter beyond the seminar room. कहाँ पे है? कहाँ पे है? But Wittgenstein later abandoned this proposition. बाद में छोड़ दिया. Argued words do not get their meaning by picturing, naming sounds, but their use in specific human activities and social practices. What he called language games, meaning of word, principles. Okay, ठीक है, ठीक है, ठीक है, ठीक है. These debates matter beyond the seminar room. How we understand language shapes how we think about communication, translation, nature of truth, and the relationship between different linguistic communities. Whether languages capture fundamentally different realities or merely different surfaces of a shared one remains one of the most contested questions in intellectual life. This passage is brilliant. It's a 5-star passage, right? But because the questions are too direct, nobody will get it wrong, isn't it? Matter beyond the seminar room. Language philosophy has direct applications. In AI, the बात ही गलत है. Understanding language shapes how we approach communication, truth, and relationship between linguistic communities. Exactly. This passage in itself is a great passage, right? In terms of the content of the passage. But because there's an exam of speed, the questions are pretty direct, straightforward. So if you just map the keywords from the questions to the passage, you will get it. Got it, everyone? Chalo. Let's go to next. यही पैसेज को मैं कैट में यूज करूंगा तो क्वेश्चंस बहुत ज्यादा डरावने हो जाएंगे. Let's go to next one and here we start the timer. Yeah. Chandrayaan mission. Historically significant about Chandrayaan's 3 missions landing site. Science and technology. Earlier was philosophy. Next. Aditi, yes, this message is visible. दो message visible है, एक है yes sir, एक था is my chat visible. These two are visible. I don't know about others. Next. Okay, Aditi. That's all. Let's go to the passage now. Yeah, Aditya, we can. Questions now. Next. Next. All right. Comparison of Mangalyaaan's cost to Hollywood film budgets is used to. ISRO's cost competitiveness attributed in the passage to which combination of factors? What was historically significant about Chandrayaan's three missions landing site? Okay, let's see this. देखते हैं कीवर्ड्स लैंडिंग साइट के बारे में क्या था कुछ खासियत थी ओके इंडिया स्पेस प्रोग्राम ठीक है 69 विक्रम साराभाई इसरो हो गया रॉकेट्स असेंबल्ड ऑन बाइसिकल्स ठीक है जर्नी आ गई ठीक है ये हमारे इससे कोई आंसर नहीं आ रहा सेकेंड पैराग्राफ माइलस्टोन्स स्पीक फॉर देमसेल्व्स चंद्रयान वन मिशन कंफर्म चंद्रयान वन की बात हो रही है थ्री की बात हो रही है तो यहाँ पे कुछ खास होगा नहीं वन कंफर्म प्रेजेंस ऑफ वाटर on moon surface, Mars orbiter mission हो गया थ्री पे आते हैं crowning achievement to date is Chandrayaan 3 soft landing near the moon south pole a feat no other nation had previously accomplished यही होगा किसी और ने किया नहीं आज तक no other nation had previously achieved a soft landing near the moon's south pole cool see अच्छा ओके ठीक है आगे देखते हैं साउथ पोल इज पर्टिकुलर साइंटिफिक इंटरेस्ट इंडिया इज फर्स्ट नेशन बस हो गया इसका काम खत्म थर्ड पैराग्राफ का काम खत्म हो चुका है फोर्थ पे आते हैं Israel's competitive advantage lies in combination of factors, strong tradition of mathematical engineering education, producing large number of skilled scientists. Let's see. Government subsidies, second-hand technology, skilled engineering talent, frugal innovation, lower cost structure. Frugal innovation. Philosophy of frugal innovation that prioritizes indigenous developed technology over imported components, cost structures lower. Okay, cool. So ये भी हो गया सी है इसका भी और ये था ओके हॉलीवुड फिल्म देखते हैं यहाँ पे क्या आएगा ओके 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 कॉम्पिटिटिव रेट्स गगनयान क्रूड मिशन इंडियन एस्ट्रोनॉट्स जॉइंट लूनर मिशन हॉलीवुड फिल्म्स की बात कहाँ है इसमें कहीं मिस किया क्या मैंने लेट मी चेक आउट वैसे कौन सा होना जिस दिन मालूम पड़ गया कॉस्ट इफेक्टिव मिशन की बात होगी ठीक है सीसीबी या नो प्राइजेस फॉर गेसिंग दिस वन सीसीबी इज द आंसर ऑल ऑफ यू गॉट दिस करेक्ट आदित्य सीसीबी सबका ही सही है वेरी गुड ये देखो यहाँ दो शीट दिख रही होंगी एक शीट खुली दूसरी शीट ये है तो 12 पैसेज हो चुके हैं तो इसको मैं बंद कर रहा हूँ इस शीट को शीट टू खुल चुकी है जहां पे 12 पैसेज और है एंड वी स्टार्टेड नाउ सेकंड में था ओके नेक्स्ट नेक्स्ट नाउ द पैसेज 10 seconds for the questions now. Here we go. अदिति, क्यों डिफिकल्ट पैसेज था ये? तो हमेशा थोड़ी ना आसान होगा, कुछ डिफिकल्ट भी तो होने चाहिए भाई. मैंने क्वेश्चन दिखाए नहीं थे पहले. सेंट्रल पैराडॉक्स. चलो, ट्राई इट आउट. आई जस्ट चेंज द गेम फॉर अ वाइल. नेक्स्ट. Nobody's answering. What happened? Keshav, Aditya, Sadanand, Aditi, and anybody else who is there? Okay. This passage looks like it's difficult, right? Keshav, any answer? Chalo, let's see. Just try the same technique here. Mapping. Opportunity cost salience contributes to dissatisfaction because the jam study cited in the passage primarily the central paradox in the passage explores what? पहले paradox ढूंढना पड़ेगा. ठीक है. Let's look this out. जैम स्टडी से हम शुरू कर सकते हैं. मैपिंग हो सकती है, राइट? डू वी हैव एनी जैम स्टडी हियर? यहाँ पे एक दिया हुआ है, दिस फिनोमिनन, ऊपर कुछ लिखा होगा, is compounded by what psychologists call opportunity cost salience. Every time you choose option A, you are implicitly giving up all the other options you could have chosen. Where there are only two options, the foregone alternative is clear and bounded. When there are 50, the mental representation of everything I gave up becomes a diffuse, haunting source of dissatisfaction, even if chosen option is objectively excellent. समझ में आया अभी? Basically, if you have multiple options, it gives the satisfaction because there's so much to choose from, right? Right. So let's check this out. तुम कल A और B बोल रहे थे, आदित्य. केशव के सुपर चैट करना होगा. ओके. पैसेज 30. सेलियंस लास्ट वाला. हाँ. Dissatisfaction because number of options grows, mental image of what was foregone becomes larger and more diffuse. खत्म हो गई बात. Simple. Jam study. कहीं है क्या jam study? Okay. Let's see. Do we have any jam study here done anywhere? ये रहा शायद. The research evidence is striking. In a now famous study, shoppers in a supermarket were offered samples of either 6 or 24 varieties of jam. Those who encountered the larger display were more likely to stop and taste, but far less likely to actually purchase. The smaller display generated nearly 10 times the sales conversion rate. ये तो अच्छा आइडिया है. सोच रहा हूँ मैं भी अपनी ऑफरिंग्स कम कर दूं ग्रेड स्कूल पे. इतने मैंने टूल्स बना दिए हैं, कम कर दूंगा तो कन्वर्जन रेट बढ़ जाएगा. है दैट्स आल्सो गुड पॉइंट. More options paradoxically led to less action and less satisfaction. Oh shit, I did not know it. Okay, anyways, so here we are. Jam study prove that supermarkets should stock fewer products. Supermarkets की बात नहीं थी, ये पूरे में होगा. Illustrate larger number of options can reduce purchasing decisions and satisfaction. Yes, that's it. Now coming to central paradox. Satisficers are ultimately happier than maximizers. Having more choices, contrary to economic theory, can reduce happiness and increase regret. यही सही लग रहा है मेरे को. वैसे तो सुपरमार्केट्स deliberately limit, ये तो नहीं होगा. सिर्फ एक चीज की बात तो हो नहीं रही. दो क्वेश्चन के आंसर से ही मालूम पड़ गया मेरे को कि सिर्फ सुपरमार्केट की बात नहीं है. ओके आदित्य, तो ये हमें और स्टडी करनी पड़ेगी कि क्या होता है इससे. सेटिस्फैक्शन बढ़ रहा है और ऑफरिंग से कि नहीं बढ़ रहा है. यहाँ पे लग रहा है कि बढ़ रहा है. ओके, तो हमारी क्लासिकल इकोनॉमिक थ्योरी चल रही है. ऑल राइट, जैम इफेक्ट नहीं है. ट्रेडिशनल इकोनॉमिक थ्योरी करेक्टली प्रेडिक्ट्स कंज्यूमर बिहेवियर मॉडर्न मार्केट्स. अपॉर्चुनिटी का ये तो करेक्टली अगर होता तो ये जैम स्टडी होती ही नहीं. तो डी इसलिए एलिमिनेट बिकॉज वी हैव आंसर्ड सेकंड एंड थर्ड क्वेश्चन. वी नो दैट सी एंड डी कांट बी ट्रू. गेटिंग इट इवन विदाउट reading the passage totally. That opportunity costs are irrelevant when the number of available options is very large. ये हमें इसके लिए पढ़ना ही पड़ेगा. चलो देखते हैं. ट्रेडिशनल इकोनॉमिक थ्योरी, मोर चॉइस इज ऑलवेज बेटर. Prefer A to B. A is available. You are unambiguously better off than if only B were available. Intuition feels self-evident. Surely having more options can only expand your freedom, your ability to get what you want. The psychologist Barry Schwartz, in his influential work on the subject, has argued that modern proliferation of choice has paradoxically made many people less happy, less satisfied, more prone to regret. वैसे एक बात तो है, जब पापा मम्मी बोलते हैं कि हमारे जमाने में तो हम लोग एक दूसरे को देखा था एक बार और शादी हो गई. चलो मेरे घर में ऐसा हुआ. कुछ और मैंने देखा है अंकल आंटी, उन्होंने देखा भी नहीं, शादी हो गई. ऑप्शन ही नहीं थे, सब हैप्पी हैं. आज के टाइम में देख रहे हैं कि ए ने देखा बी को, सी को, डी को, बी ने देखा ई को, डी ने ई को भी देख लिया है. ऐसे करते करते समझ ही नहीं आ रहा क्या करना है. अल्टीमेटली कोई भी सेटिस्फाइड नहीं है. रिलेशन में तो ऐसा हो रहा है, खास करके रोमांटिक रिलेशंस में. ओके, दैट्स I would say a bleed here, right? Schwartz draws a distinction between what we call maximizers, people who strive to make the best possible decision, and satisficers who settle for an option that is good enough. In a world of limited choices, maximizer strategy is perfectly rational. Number of options expands dramatically. तो ये एक बस एक ही जगह बोला गया है, इसका मतलब A सही नहीं हो सकता. Now we have B and E. Okay, ठीक है. Every domain of modern consumer life, from breakfast cereals to healthcare plans, romantic partners on dating apps, maximizer faces. देखो इसने भी ये बोल दिया. Evaluating every option thoroughly is cognitively exhausting. More options there are, more maximizers fears. Okay, cool. Implications extend well beyond consumer behavior, education, patients, medical decisions, career planning. Excess of options can paralyze rather than liberate. Schwartz's prescription is not to eliminate choice, which would be paternalistic and counterproductive, but to become more deliberate about when we apply maximizing versus. ठीक है, इससे मालूम पड़ जाएगा हमें. अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट इररिलेवेंट, ये वाली बात है ही नहीं. ऑप्शंस, इसकी कॉस्ट की बात करी नहीं गई है. हैविंग मोर चॉइस कॉन्ट्रेरी टू इकोनॉमिक थ्योरी कैन रिड्यूस हैप्पीनेस, इंक्रीज रिग्रेट. यही श्वार्ट्ज ने यहाँ पे ना, श्वार्ट्ज है ना, ये श्वार्ट्ज ने यही चीज हमारी बताई थी. श्वार्ट्ज एक मैथमेटिशियन भी बाय द वे. देखो. ओके, नाउ कमिंग टू नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. Nobody else is saying anything. Such a nice जोक था यार. थोड़ा सा ठीक है, मुझे पता है कि हमारी क्लास में ज्यादातर सीरियस बातें ही होती हैं, एकेडमिक स्टफ. एक आध मजाक कभी 2 घंटे में एक बार हो, थोड़ा हंस बस दिया करो भाई. ओके, नींद ना आ जाए सबको. Let's go to the next one. Here we are starting. Aditya, that question was for me. Next. Sadanand, you there? Sadanand is not saying anything. रिलेशनशिप में मैं क्यों आ जाता हूँ? मैं तो कभी नहीं आता. तुम क्या पूछ रहे हो? मैं समझ नहीं आ रहा क्वेश्चन. अच्छा, रिलेशनशिप, not that relationship. You're saying relationship between different things. Okay. I don't know what you're asking. Be more precise. Coming to next question. मैं कहाँ आया? मैंने तो बोला ही नहीं एबीसी. मैं अपनी बात कहाँ बोल रहा हूँ ब्रो? मैं तो पूरी दुनिया का बात बोल रहा हूँ. तुम उसका हिस्सा हो उस दुनिया का. मैं तो सिर्फ बुक्स, मूवीज और साइंस मैथ्स में रहता हूँ. चलो, लेट्स गो टू द क्वेश्चंस. पैसेज नाउ. Wow, new people in the chat. Also, that is the most relatable example for everyone. Everybody understands this example. If I give an example of some philosophical theory, people will just go bonkers. That's why I give relatable and easy examples. That also is a kind of an unintentional thought, maybe. The questions now. I'm going there. Next. Regulating services. Next. Acronym HIPPO. Okay, let's go to the questions now. हिप्पो देखना है, रेगुलेटिंग सर्विसेज देखना है मेरे को. हिप्पो कहाँ है? हिप्पो ये रहा. Current rate of biodiversity loss is alarming. Scientists estimate species are currently going extinct at rates between 100 and 1,000 times the background extinction rate. Primary drivers are habitat destruction, overexploitation of wild species. Okay, invasive species introduced by human activity, pollution, climate change. पांच चीजें हैं ये तो हिप्पो के लिए जो बायोडाइवर्सिटी लॉस की बात कर रहा है. दिस इज करेक्ट, राइट? केशव राइटिंग थर्ड टाइम. या आई गॉट ऑल ऑफ इट. फर्स्ट भी देखा, सेकंड देखा, थर्ड भी देखा. You know what? In Matrix Revolutions, which was the worst sequel of Matrix, the best part of the movie was the quote, which was choice is an illusion. पिछले पैसे समझ में आया. अदिति, तुम्हें समझ में आ जाएगा. अभी पूरा पैसेज एक लाइन समझा दूंगा मैं. Choice is an illusion. You always know what to do. Such a deep statement. इसके बारे में आर्टिकल लिखना. Regulating services as defined in the passage. Do we have regulating services anywhere? Okay. Ecosystem services. Okay. Several broad categories. Provisioning services, including tangible products. Regulating services are more diffuse but no less essential. Regulation of climate through carbon sequestration, purification of water by wetlands and soils, the control of flooding by forests, pollution of crops by insects. Climate regulation, water purification, flood control. हो गया. Perfect. Economy is entirely embedded within nature. अच्छा, ये कहाँ बोला गया है? यहाँ बोला होगा शायद. Economic value of these services is staggering. Attempts have been made to quantify total global ecosystem services. Tens of trillions of dollars annually, exceeding entirety of global GDP. यहाँ से हाँ ये रहा. What are the precise figure? Point is clear. Economy is not separate from nature, but is entirely embedded within it. Okay, यहीं से मालूम पड़ जाएगा हमें. Economic growth is impossible without exploitation of natural resources. Natural ecosystem provide the foundational services upon which all economic activity depends. Is that so? Okay. Exceeding entirety of global GDP by some calculations. इसका मतलब कि हाँ, यही फाउंडेशन बनाता है हर चीज का. और देखते हैं बाकी क्या है. इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ इज इम्पॉसिबल विदाउट एक्सप्लोरेशन, ये कंफर्म नहीं है. जीडीपी, ये तो बात ही नहीं है. जीडीपी कैलकुलेशन शुड इंक्लूड द मार्केट वैल्यू ऑफ वाइल्ड एनिमल प्रोडक्ट्स. वाइल्ड एनिमल प्रोडक्ट्स बट बहुत स्पेसिफिक है, नहीं हो सकता. Economic environmental policies are currently well integrated in most countries. Not really. That is why the passage is there. Global economy will inevitably collapse due to biodiversity loss within this century. ये भी बात नहीं है. B ही सही है. So answer is B, C, B. I think most of you got this correct. Let's go to next one. Passage 15. Aditi बोलना चाह रही, she wants to sleep. She's saying my answer is bed. So basically she is saying that now she is sleepy. Okay, Aditya, you have to be good in logical reasoning as well. कल मैं DI क्लास ले रहा हूँ वैसे. LR की भी लूंगा जल्दी ही. Tomorrow at the same time at 9 we'll meet for that. आज IPL था, कौन जीता यार? RCB जीत गई. All right. Was that right, Aditi? Question number 2. मैं मैच का देखना रिजल्ट. Okay, so I did not change the passage. Sadanand, your comments are not visible in case you are typing. Next. Passage now. Okay, Sadanand. Yeah, right, Aditi. 15 passage. No और हैं. Do you want to do all today? Or maybe I can give you a PDF 9 passage homework के लिए कल से पहले. Whatever you want. If you want that, I will put it in some Google Drive and share it with you guys. Coming to the questions now. पंद्रह रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन पैच करने के बाद बहुत ज्यादा नहीं हो गया ये? मुझे दिक्कत नहीं है. आई एम कूल विद दिस. ये हिस्ट्री का पैसेज आ गया. हर तरह का जॉनरा कर लिया हमने आज. क्वेश्चन नंबर 3. 2 अभी कर रहे हो. 3. I think for 2 more time लगेगा. Okay. Question 3. Okay. I still come in your dreams. That's a good thing, isn't it? बाकी लोग क्या बोलते हैं? Do you want the PDF to be solved as a homework, or do you want me to do it here itself? You're used to it? That's good. So then, chalo. So the third question is all about invention of coinage in Lydia is significant. Okay. What does the evidence from Sumerian clay tablets suggest? Which of the following best represents the author's view of money? चलो देखते हैं. सबसे पहले कोई कीवर्ड coinage of Lydia ये देखते हैं. Coinage in Lydia. Where do we have Lydia era? Invention of coinage in Lydia, that is modern day Turkey, around the 7th century BCE transformed money's social and political role. Coins stamped with sovereign authority made money portable, divisible, and more easily verifiable. They enable anonymous exchange between strangers, trade without prior relationship or trust, which dramatically expanded the scale at which markets could operate. अच्छा passage है, no doubt. Proof for first time money required state backing to function, replaced right system with barter. Barter की बात तो थी नहीं. Made money portable, verifiable, enabling anonymous trade between strangers at scale. हो गया. C सही है. Sumerian clay tablets. ये वाला देखते हैं अब. Sumerian ये रहा सुमेर की बात हो रही है. All right. Clay tablets. Records not epic poetry or religious hymns, but accounting ledgers. Wow. Entries of credit and debt denominated in standard units of grain and silver. This suggests that money as an abstract unit of account, a way of measuring and recording obligations, preceded the physical coinage that most people associate with the word money. Let's see. First writing was related to record religious नहीं था. वो financial bookkeeping type का था. Barter economies are widespread. No. Abstract units account and credit system preceded physical coinage. इससे मालूम यही मालूम पड़ रहा लिखा हुआ clearly. Money was invented by merchants. No. Early money system were limited to grain and no. Did not involve silver. गलत बात है ये. C is correct. First, represents the author's view of money. शुरुआत में होगा. Money is so deeply woven into fabric of daily life, but it is easy to forget its social technology. Invention, not a natural phenomenon. ऐसा कुछ है क्या? Natural commodity was well determined by scarcity. Social technology value rests on collective belief and institutional trust. Looks like this is correct. Social technology. Every form of money from cowrie shell to gold coins to digital bank balances works not because it has intrinsic value, but because enough people collectively believe it does and are willing to accept it. जो बिटकॉइन के साथ हो रहा है क्रिप्टो करेंसी का यही हो रहा है ना कि पीपल बिलीव दैट दिस इज गोइंग टू वर्क दैट इज व्हाई इट इज वर्किंग राइट सो इट्स कलेक्टिव ट्रस्ट ओनली तो बी हो गया खत्म सो आंसर इज बी सी सी ब्लैंक कार्बन कॉपी ऑलराइट ओके so I have this link. Here it is. Do you see the link? Yeah. Let me just open the camera for once. Here I am, guys. How did you enjoy? It's like 15 passages which you would have not done alone. But now you have 9 passages for the homework. Do that. Just click on that link and see if it opens. If not, I'll share it in some other way. Aditya has cracked the matrix. कल मैं ये पूरा गेम चेंज कर दूंगा. Okay. 11 on 10. Oh, Sudanand, that I'm really happy about that. All varieties done. Yes. And जो रिमेनिंग है वो तुम्हारा होमवर्क है. मुझे पता है कि तुम में से ज्यादा लोग होमवर्क करेंगे नहीं. I somehow know it. And that is the reason why instead of having so much information out there, you still need content creators because content has to be presented in a human form. So human तो कितना भी टेक्नोलॉजी आ जाए, ह्यूमन तो हमेशा mentorship तो ह्यूमन ही कर पाएगा. That is something else. It will always be true. Nothing can replace that. ठीक है. वैसे RC 111 के अंदर 111 पैसेज हैं. वो तो बिल्कुल कैट लेवल के हैं. जरूर सॉल्व करना उसको. Keshav is not saying anything, or if you are saying, I'm not. The chat is not visible. Sadanand visible, Aditya visible hai, Aditya visible hai. There's some more people who are not chatting. Whoever you are, hello. Am I visible somehow? I don't really know if I'm visible or not. I am. All right. All right then. Chalo, take care, everyone. Keshav is doing that. Okay, receive PDF link. That's great. So I will see you tomorrow then. 9 p.m. Same time. By the way, Keshav, you also have a class on platform. There'll be graphical analysis. It'll be happening at 5 p.m. Tomorrow is Sunday. So I think you will be available. It's closing, March closing. Most of you are working somewhere. Aditya, you are writing MHCT. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, yes, you are writing. Now I remember. So, yeah, that will be there. Then this class will be there. And if somehow I feel that, I am into totally this flow state, I might take a certain indices marathon as well. Let's see. Bye-bye. Take care, everyone. Good night.